No, he's not a villain. This is it's a guy who's spent his life dealing in legal to illegal situations, depending on how he wants to make his money. But he's pushed into a corner in this movie, circumstances that he had nothing to do with. And when push comes to shove, it's his life or someone else's. So he's reacting like a caged animal. He doesn't act like this all the time, but you don't want to mess with him. He's not a guy you want to mess with. He's fine. You're straight with him. He's fine. You mess with him. You don't want to mess with him. Well, Bernie was born in New York and moved to Los Angeles in the early 80s, financed by, I guess, some aspect of New York mob money. And he and the character Ron Perlman plays, they sort of have always been in business together. They remind me of George and Lenny in Of Mice and Men, Ron's Lenny. And Bernie produced like movies. Some people might call them exploitation movies. Bernie likes to think of them as European movies in the 80s. Action movies, a lot of sex. As he fondly puts it in the film, they were shit. But I think he had dreams of being Robert Evans. But that didn't last very long. So he does his business. He loans money to people. He does what he needs to do to make a nice living. And he still has his affiliations with the people in New York who set him up. We had a rehearsal period that went on for a number of days before the movie started. And a lot of what Nicholas likes to do is to set, he likes to sort of take apart the script and find out what works and what doesn't, and he likes to set it in a rehearsal period. So when you get there, you're not just like, what am I going to say today? But there is a time in which to sort of change the dialogue and work it out. And then on the set, he likes doing a lot of takes, which is wonderful. And on many of those takes, he'll say, all right, do anything you want. So, he knows what he's going to do before he gets there. He accomplishes that. And then if there's time, he sort of breaks that apart and sees what else might be hidden. I hope they believe it. I mean, that's really all you can ask in a movie, is that once it starts, you're lost in the story. I hope it's, there's a lot of car movement in this movie. And from what I can see, I think Nicholas is doing it differently. So, 15 directors can film a chase, and 13 will be the same, and 2 will be very different. So I think Nicholas might be one of those 2.